The day I discovered the nanny's true feelings, I was standing in my own kitchen feeling like a stranger in the life I had built. I thought I was about to lose my marriage, my family, and everything I had spent years protecting. But the truth I uncovered that afternoon was far more painful and beautiful than any betrayal I could have imagined. If you believe in kindness, forgiveness, hope, and second chances, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share this story with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to our channel so we can continue bringing you emotional journeys that remind us about the power of love. For months, I had watched my wife, Marlo, leave our home earlier and earlier each day. She was always carrying a laptop, always rushing through breakfast, always apologizing that her work needed more of her attention. I told myself it was temporary. Her company had grown quickly, and I knew she carried a heavy responsibility. I respected her ambition because I had fallen in love with that same determination years before. But slowly, something changed. The woman who once laughed while cooking with me, who used to sit beside me and talk about our dreams, seemed to disappear behind endless responsibilities. Our conversations became shorter. Our family dinners became rare. Even when she was physically present, her mind seemed to be somewhere else. I was raising our 6-year-old daughter, Renley, while trying to manage my own work from home. We had hired a nanny named Callista because we needed help during the busiest hours of our week. Callista was patient, gentle, and incredibly caring with Renley. She never tried to replace a parent. She simply became another person who wanted our daughter to feel safe and loved. At first, I was grateful. I trusted her completely. She arrived every morning with a warm smile, helped Renley with her school projects, prepared healthy meals, and made our home feel peaceful when everything else felt overwhelming. But as Marlo continued spending more time away, I began feeling a loneliness I couldn't explain. I missed my wife. I missed being a husband instead of just a person managing schedules, meals, and responsibilities. One afternoon, while I was organizing papers in the living room, I noticed Callista looking at me with an expression I couldn't understand. It wasn't anger. It wasn't happiness. It was something mixed with sadness and hesitation. She seemed like someone carrying a secret she didn't want to reveal. Later that day, she finally admitted something that shook me. She told me she felt like I enjoyed being around her, and she worried that my loneliness was making me confuse kindness and comfort with something deeper. Her honesty hit me harder than any accusation could have. Because deep down, I knew there had been moments when I looked forward to her arriving. Not because I wanted something wrong, but because she brought warmth into a home that had started feeling empty. She listened when I talked. She noticed when I was overwhelmed. She reminded me that I was more than just a father trying to hold everything together. But feeling understood was not the same as falling in love. And I realized that if I wasn't careful, I could allow my pain to create a story that wasn't real. Callista wasn't trying to come between us. In fact, she was the person brave enough to point out the distance growing between my wife and me. She told me she respected our marriage and that she had no desire to become part of a problem she didn't create. Her words forced me to face something I had been avoiding. I had been blaming Marlo for leaving emotionally, but I had also stopped reaching for her. I had built walls around my disappointment instead of telling her how much I missed her. The next day, during the afternoon when Marlo finally came home between meetings, I asked her to sit with me. For the first time in months, we stopped talking about schedules and responsibilities. We talked about us. I expected excuses. I expected defensiveness. Instead, I saw tears in her eyes. Marlo admitted she knew she had been distant. She confessed that she had been carrying a fear she never shared with anyone. After the birth of our daughter, she had struggled with feeling like she was failing both as a mother and as a professional. When her company began depending on her leadership, she convinced herself that working harder was the only way to prove she was still valuable. She wasn't staying away because she didn't love us. She was running because she was afraid of not being enough. Hearing that changed everything. I realized I had been seeing only the empty space beside me, not the invisible weight she was carrying on her shoulders. I had missed the signs because I was too focused on my own hurt. Marlo apologized for making me feel alone. I apologized for letting resentment grow quietly inside me. We both realized that love doesn't always disappear suddenly. Sometimes it fades slowly when two people stop sharing their fears and start hiding their struggles. Over the following weeks, we began rebuilding. It wasn't magical. It wasn't perfect. There were still difficult days. There were still misunderstandings. But we started choosing each other again. Callista remained part of our daughter's life, but with clearer boundaries and deeper respect. She eventually told us that she had accepted another position with a family closer to her own home. Before leaving, she thanked us for trusting her and for allowing her to be part of Renly's childhood. Marlo and I were both emotional when she left because she had become more than an employee. She had been someone who helped our family see the truth when we were too lost to find it ourselves. Months later, our home felt different. Not because we had fewer problems, but because we stopped pretending problems didn't exist. We ate meals together again. We talked about our fears. We celebrated small moments instead of waiting for big ones. One afternoon, while watching Renly laugh in the backyard, I looked at Marlo and realized something important. The greatest threat to our marriage had never been another person. It had been silence. It had been two people who loved each other but forgot how to reach out. Marlo squeezed my hand and smiled, and in that moment I understood that relationships are not saved by never facing storms. They are saved by choosing to stand together when the storm arrives. Years later, when Renly was older, she asked us why we always told her that love required honesty. We told her that because we learned the hard way. Love is not about finding someone perfect. It is about finding someone willing to grow, forgive, and fight for something meaningful. The experience that almost broke our family became the lesson that strengthened it. A moment of confusion became a moment of clarity. A painful truth became the beginning of healing. Before this story ends, I want to ask you something. What do you think is the most important lesson from this journey? Is it the importance of communication, forgiveness, trust, or understanding someone's hidden struggles? Please leave a meaningful comment and share your thoughts with our community. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. Because sometimes the person standing closest to saving your heart is not the person you expect. Sometimes the greatest love stories are not about avoiding mistakes. They are about having the courage to admit them, learn from them, and choose love again.